Let me know where the audio's
Easy
at.
mode should actually be easy, and basically every challenging game should have an easy mode option. So
Okay. No, you're already wrong. And the reason being, we'll just get to the crux of it really quickly. No, because it betrays the audience. It betrays the audience.
Recently, the wife and I were sitting down to play Baldur's Gate 3, and we're playing it on the easiest mode, which I think is called Exploration Mode. And it's bizarre because it's supposed to be easy and fun, and yet whenever you get to the dice checks, we would still fail constantly. If it was truly an easy mode, there'd be a button that just said, hey, you just skip this, and you can just pick the choice you...
Okay, so you're actually talking about developers removing mechanics out of the game? Ooh. That's a big... So, wait... okay, so why play a game, like, and then just have the option to not follow the rules of the game? Like, that would be like saying, well, in Monopoly, I should just be able to just get properties when I land on them instead of having to like you're actively asking... So it's... Because, again, the vision of the creator is... This is our gameplay style. This is how it works. And now you're actively saying to eliminate mechanics out of it for what? A point-and-click story? I mean, there are games. They're called Telltale games. They're effectively point-and-click adventures that you can do with QTE events. No, but again, it's not an option. You're asking to remove a critical experience that the game developer wants you to have. Just the option. No. But that's what I'm saying is you're changing the game by removing that, right? Part of the gameplay experience, part of putting a jigsaw puzzle together is spending the time and finding all of the pieces. Part of playing the game is engaging with the mechanics that the developer... Part of reading a book is getting into the world that the writer wants you to do. Part of listening to music, that's like coming in and saying, well, okay, I didn't really like the fact that they did this breakdown here. Can we just make it simple? That breakdown just, they shouldn't have done that. And it's like, but I wanted you to experience that breakdown as my artistic, creative vision. So let's get back into it.
You want. It doesn't matter if your skill isn't actually to that level because it's easy mode. You can just press the button and continue on.
Then you shouldn't be playing the game. Like, that's the thing. You're making the argument that gaming should be for everyone and all games should be for everyone, and that's not the case. I mean, we've already seen them do that in comic book movies. When all of a sudden it becomes for everyone, then it becomes for no one, and no, these games need to have those mechanics in them because that's their target audience. And, like, okay... And again, if they don't target an audience and go for that audience, why even make the game in the first place? Should have an easy mode conflation. No, it's not. Like, the part of that skill level you're talking about, Evely, is part of the audience of the game. If you're not a part of that audience, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that... again, it's not conflation. The audience that they're going for are people who are into the successful fails or successful dice rolls and then the fails and all that stuff. That's the audience for that game. If you remove that from it, again, you're basically saying that, oh, it's just for everybody. We don't have a targeted audience. Somebody who's desperately going to love this game. No. Get Good Games still gets that experience. That's not what I'm talking about, though. Like, again, if you don't seem to understand what targeting an audience is and what makes those games, it's to remove the mechanics out of a game. I mean, you're not playing a game anymore. What, like... the whole point of a game, the whole point of gaming has always been to overcome the challenge of the game. Because that's the core audience that gamers are. And for you to sit here and say, no, we just need to have point and click adventures because then I'm a real gamer. No, you're not. You don't even want to be a part of the audience. You're not a gamer. Okay, that means that you just put the games down. Or maybe there's a game out there that does, but don't demand that the rest of the world kowtow to that. No, gaming is mechanical first and foremost. If the gaming mechanics aren't good, then full stop. Gaming is about gaming, right? The art of the game to get to actually use the mechanics and the puzzles and the difficulty level and overcoming that. That is critical to the gaming experience.
Additionally, whenever you're in battles, you would have your one character who's like this cool lizard knight lady, and she's got a big sword, and you run 4 feet at a time, which was kind of silly that this knight can only run this far before the turn changes. I know it's a tabletop D&D thing. I know. But again, we're on easy mode. I should just be able to run right up to the guy. In any case,
no, you don't get to break the rules because you want to. What? Hey, let's just not have rules in games anymore. Fuck it. Why do we need rules? Why do we need rules in games, right? Just why should we have that? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't like to follow rules of games and they mod the absolute shit out of them. I'm not the type of person that believes in modding because I think that what the developer created for you is the experience they want you to have. If you don't want to follow the rules that the developer laid out for you, then you're not the audience for the game. Period. That's it. You are not the audience. But you just said get rid of one of the critical rules of D&D. You know why you can't just run all the way up on easy mode because you can only move 4 feet? Is because as you level up, you get you can stack in certain areas so you can move more. What a concept. Having a rule in place that says, oh, if I level up these characters a certain way, I can make them better. I actually have a goal to chase by removing that component. You're removing the idea of getting better in the game. But no, you don't like playing. You don't like playing though. That's my point. You have no want to actually build craft your characters. You want a point and click adventure. There are games out there for point and click adventures, right? If you don't like playing because dying and going, oh, I need to get better as part of the experience that the developer wanted me to have is part of that, Evely. You don't actually like playing games because you want to remove all of the game mechanics out of it. Like, that's not the thing. I've only been here a short time, and this guy is like, I hate D&D, so let's play a game based around 5th edition D&D. What? Yeah, it's weird. Filler episodes from an anime. Watch. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not even a remotely close comparison. It's literally going to sit down at a tabletop game and saying, oh, hey, by the way, hey, DM, I don't like this rule, this rule, that rule, that rule, that rule, this rule, this rule, this rule. So you should just do me a favor and just change all of it so that way I can just have a better experience. The DM goes, no, that's not how it works. That you in your first, like, dude, we're a minute into this and you're saying easy mode should literally just let you walking simulator your way through the game because you don't like dying. But that is a critical part of the gaming experience. Overcoming the game itself, learning to get better. That is gaming. That is gaming. That's how it was. That's how it's always been. Like, and guess what? Some games are for some people. Some games are not for other people. Bro wants a visual novel. Why, Hilbert, why'd you retract that message? But yes, a visual novel, essentially. That's not gaming. Again, go check out the Telltale series of games. If this is what you want, just go check out Telltale series. Yeah, so easy mode. Honor mode is one life game mode. If your whole party dies, your run is done. You either pick up again on an easier mode or start over. Yeah. Like easy mode, they make the damage scaling a lot less. They make it easier for your characters to continue on and live. They genuinely lower the difficulty level of the enemies. They don't remove rules of the game. You still have to follow the rules of the game. Again, that's like say the equivalent to this is saying, if I land on a space in Monopoly, I should just get to own that property. I don't need to buy it. Why? That's stupid. That's not easy. I wanted to play easy. Huh? And there are actually rules in Monopoly to make it easier, like landing on free parking. Obviously you can add the rule in for if you pass go, it's increased money that you get. Certain things like that. Like if you can actually add or use the rule of, hey, if you roll doubles, you get to roll again, or you can remove that rule out to make it harder. You're actively talking about removing mechanics. That's not making it easy. That's removing mechanics.
Take several turns. You eventually get close enough to this goblin that you're ready to smack this thing in the head with your sword. And you can't because you only have a success rate of 60%. So 40% of the time, my awesome, super tough knight is there and she's swinging and she's missing. It makes no sense.
Yes, that's because it's a D&D based style game. And if you would like that character to have a better success rate of hit, you have to engage with the mechanics and build that character to have a higher percentage of hit. It makes sense because it's telling the player, hey, if you would like this character to engage in combat better, you as the player have to engage with the game, and its design. You're actively asking for point-and-click adventures. They have those games. They're out there for you. Again, Telltale series, I've played a few of them. They're kind of fun. Actually, the Telltale Batman game was definitely betrayal to that, but go check out the Telltale games. Right up your alley, dude. If you don't want... then again, they're QTE events, so you can kind of still fail on those. But dude... The whole point of turn-based system is being efficient with your turn. Actions, bonus actions, movement, placing, may as well turn your brain off. Come on now. Yeah. That's the whole point of a turn-based system is to... this is wild to me, dude. You have a more extreme notion of this than I even thought you did.
Beyond that, you get to the point where some of these battles that you're going into, we're playing on easy mode, and given I'm not the best at playing this game, but I've been playing games for a long time. I used to play Final Fantasy Tactics. I beat that one. It's like I'm not totally incompetent with this style of game. In any case, it's easy mode, so I should just be able to walk up and just hit attack on everybody and win the fight, but that wasn't the case. Attack on everybody and win the fight, but that...
So there's no... You don't do any... I legitimately... Evely, you're not a gamer, dude. Just period. If you're not willing to engage with mechanics, you're just not. Like, I'm sorry, if you're not willing to engage with the mechanics of the game and you're actively saying, well, easy mode should just mean that, well, dice rolls don't matter anymore. Dice modes needs to disappear. Dice mode, it's easy mode should actually be, yeah, it is easy because they lower the health pools. They give you higher ability to actually land shit. Like, they actually tune the game down so that way, the challenge of the game isn't there. You don't get to just remove mechanics. If you don't like playing D&D, then don't play D&D. That's what Baldur's Gate 3 is. It's a D&D simulator. You're complaining about D&D mechanics in a D&D game. Well, I should just insta-win everything because easy mode all the time. You're not a gamer, dude. You don't want to engage in mechanics. You don't want to solve the puzzle. And you legitimately don't even... Because by removing this insta-win thing, if you can just insta-win, why would you even build your character? Why get points to building your character stats? You're already insta-winning. You don't need to do anything more. You're already the peak of the peak, the top of the top. Nothing can beat you already. You don't want to die. You don't want a reason to have to stack points in your character's abilities and actually learn. You're literally talking about removing things from the game that tell the gamer to learn to engage with the rules of the game. Yeah, no, you're wrong, my love. And here's the thing, as the type of person who every game you have ever played, you have engaged with the mechanics in, and you have gotten very, very good at them. No, that's not the case. He's saying, this is like him saying that when you boot up COD and you just want to play zombies in an easy mode, it should be, you should effectively take so little damage that you just insta-win zombies all the way through to the end every time because it's just an easy mode. There is no threat to your character at all. All you do is just hold down and then infinite ammo and all that stuff. The point of gaming is to beat the game, which means the game will have tactics and challenges. Okay, why play games then? It's like, why do we play Monopoly? Why do we play Connect 4? That's just like saying, well, no, I should just win Connect 4 all the time. I shouldn't have to line up 4 pieces. It's not easy, right? You said we'd play an easy game, right? You're removing mechanics doesn't make a game easy. Lowering health pools, all that stuff. And still be a gamer with a different options. I may be taking it too literally, but nonetheless. The point, again, what kind of gamer are you? Are you a point-and-click adventure gamer? Those exist. Those are people who do not want to engage with any sort of mechanics at all. They just want a walking simulator. Those games do exist, okay? You are, obviously, if he's saying, well, Baldur's Gate 3 is easy mode, therefore I should just, no. You still have to follow the rules of the D&D style game. You still have to follow the rules of COD. You still have to follow the rules of Expedition 33. You still have to follow the rules of Final Fantasy. Again, there are different genres of gamers, right? There are mobile gamers. I mean, if you want something where you can't ever die and don't fail, go mobile gaming. That's easy mode. Do that.
That wasn't the case. We spend 10 to 15 minutes on some of these small battles only to lose in the last couple of rounds, and it feels like it came down to random luck. That's not easy. That's frustrating.
No, that's engaging with the mechanics. You are legitimately saying that the developers need to kowtow to a type of audience that they don't want. They want people who enjoy engaging with D&D mechanics to play their D&D game. So again, you are not the target audience for this. And you sound just like the Karens that went out there and were like, well, comic books need to be rewritten differently. We need to have that. Things need to change for me. This is exactly the problem that changed D&D to begin with, is that too many people went in there because they wanted to be included, and then they altered the game radically. No, again, why offer the mode? The mode is easy. They lower the health pools they make it easier for you to kill. Like, you can't just say remove the mechanics of it. Then you don't like Baldur's Gate 3. Well, no, but I like everything else. No, you don't, because you don't like the whole point of engaging in a game is to engage with the mechanics of it.
Now, given it's called exploration mode, but still, whenever you look at the difficulty slider, it's supposed to be easy mode. Now, if you compare this with something like Persona 3 Reload, where whenever you are, killed in a battle, instead of dying, it just says, hey, did you actually want to not die? And you say, yes, I would love to not die. Your character comes back to life and you can continue fighting. You never have to lose a single fight. Now, this...
Okay, so then go play Persona 3, a game that gives you that option, where the game developer and designer wanted you to have that because they want to target an audience for that. Good, then go play that game. It was great because, again, you want point and click adventures. You want the I always win. Most game developers don't target an audience like that. Many do, but most don't. Right? Because most gaming developers are gamers who grew up playing games where they felt accomplished getting over the challenges of some of the games that they faced. And they want to recreate that for the people. So, but that's what I'm saying. You want the option, but the developers aren't targeting you for their audience then. There is a small pool of games out there for you to go play that have that option. So play those games, right? But, don't demand, I don't know. Don't demand that, Megadeth do pop, because that's not the audience Megadeth is going for. You're not part of the audience, and you need to be okay with that. You don't get to come in and change things simply because you want to be included. Because guess what? Not every game is for everyone. And I don't like the argument you're making here on its principle. I think it goes against the artistic vision and what the game developers and game designers want for their games. It is completely against it. To say we want people to engage with our mechanics in the game and then say, well, but I want to be included, so you should just remove those mechanics? No. Find the games that have these modes, that have these options for you. Don't ask to be included in another game audience because you're not. You need to be okay with that. There are games out there. For instance, I don't really like the aesthetic of Dark Souls. That game wasn't made for me. I don't ask them to go and make it more like Devil May Cry. It's not for me. I've been writing, is somebody wanting Persona to be easier? No, they're saying that all games should be as easy as Persona. But yeah, yes, go. You're not part of that gaming crowd. Right? They don't want people who just want a walking simulator. They want people who enjoy the same thing that they do, which is the dice roll mechanics and the RNG stuff and building up your character over the course of time and actually having a fucking reason to engage with the game. If you want point and click stories, there are games out there for that. You are that audience. You are not the audience for Baldur's Gate 3. And they didn't make that game for you. They didn't make the game for you. They didn't make the game. They didn't make Elden Ring for me. I'm not really into the Dark Souls aesthetic. I've seen it a few times. Guess what? Forza Horizon, not made for me. Right? Because Forza Horizon should definitely have, stylized action combat like Devil May Cry, because Devil May Cry is one of my favorite games. All right?
This isn't the same as having the game play itself for you, but even that on an easy mode, what's the harm? All it does is it allows more people access to get into these.
Don't give cash to the artists, musicians, story writers, because the difficulty designers don't want the option. Got it. LOL, come on. No. What you need to understand, though, is all those artists, musicians, and story writers and stuff are at the behest of the main dude with the vision of the game, right? Those people are working for the one guy whose vision it is. And they are doing what he says to bring his vision together. So yes, don't give them money because you're not the audience. It's not that hard. It's not like, I don't drink fucking soda because I don't like super sweet sugary drinks. That's be like me going and be like, hey, yeah, Coca-Cola needs to definitely completely change its flavor because I don't like it. No, I'm not the target demographic. You're not the target demographic. Just don't buy the game and move on. That's it. It's not for you. It doesn't need to be for you. Not everything needs to be for everybody, and that's fine.
These games and actually experience the world, the characters, the stories, all of it.
No, probably because it wouldn't sell and it wouldn't do well. And the audience who likes Coke likes Coke. Like, again, it's not for me. I don't go out and demand for because I'm such a small portion of the audience that thinks every game should have a walking simulator in it. Like, they shouldn't have to kowtow to me. Again, dude, if you don't want to engage with the rules of the game, don't buy the game. It's not for you. That's it. It's not for you. But I want the option. But the person with the vision doesn't want that option because they want people like them who like those mechanics, who enjoy those mechanics. They want people like them, not like you. The end of story. That's it.
Now, this has really been on my mind because at the end of May, Elden Ring and Night Rain is coming out. It's a DLC that I'm both looking forward to and also kind of dreading. I did beat the original Elden Ring whenever it came out. I got good, as they say, but it took forever. There were so many battles in that game where I would spend, 15, 20 minutes clearing out the amount of enemies you have to get through just to get to that one boss fight. You get to that boss fight, and guess what? You're going to lose.
No, because you're not talking about easy mode. You are actually talking about removing game design elements out of it. You're actually talking about removing things mechanically. Again, point and click adventures exist. They're there. You can go do them. There are many games out there that are like, oh, you can just revive, or you have so many revives, or again, that's the design of the game from the person with the vision of the game. They want people who enjoy that vision. You don't enjoy that vision. It's not made for you. That's where the argument is. It's not about easy mode. It's about who the audience is and knowing who the audience is.
Why are you going to lose? Because there's patterns you have to recognize. There's things you have to do. You have to see what the enemy does, how they're going to
Rolando A. Ramirez, the Dark Ages is considered the easiest game, and it's not doing well right now. The fans of the first two are not liking it as much. The fans who they want, not the people who did want them in the first place. Award-winning best-selling franchises, simply standard option. Okay, because those developers wanted people like you who just want a walking simulator. So go play those games. Devil May Cry. What a good shout, you handsome man of culture. That sounded a bit gay, my bad. Some people be sounding gay sometimes. That's just how it is. I'd be sounding gay sometimes too. Depends.
Transform and memorize it so that the next time you fight them, you can say, okay, I know whenever he wiggles his tail or whatever, I got to dodge this way or else I'm going to get one-shotted. So you start learning these things and working your...
Yeah, that's called engaging with the game. That's the game mechanic. That's the point of Dark Souls. You're asking to remove the point of it.
Way through, but all the while you're getting good, you're also wasting time. Now, I don't see what the harm would be in having a mode where if it's on easy, you get to that fight, then you know what, you can just beat it. And there's people out there that would complain, hey, if it's like that, that takes away from the soul of the game and the spirit of the game. And on some level with certain games, maybe like a Senua's Sacrifice, where the fact that you lose and your save data gets erased makes you filled with anxiety so that you feel like what the character's feeling. I kind of a little bit sort of understand that, although I don't know why you would engage in a anxiety-inducing experience for a sense.
Because people want to. Because people want to. And the game developer wants people who enjoy that style of gameplay. And they don't want to kowtow to everyone on the planet. That's why they made that game that way.
Of relaxation or to spend your time. But for those of us that we don't derive any pleasure from getting good, from spending all of these hours mastering the dance of some of these battles to the point where I know there's a lot of people out there. You knock out this boss and you're like, yeah, I did it. And you get up, you're cheering, you're high-fiving the dog. You feel like you accomplished something serious. In my case, And again, I beat Elden Ring. There were some bosses in there. That is not the sense that I got at all. Instead, I'm just like, oh, thank God I don't have to do that again. I don't have to waste another 40 minutes going back.
Because you're not the target audience. Like, that's what I don't understand. You're not the audience for the game. Don't play it. That's it. I don't like horror movies. I don't watch horror movies. I don't ask them to turn horror movies into action movies. And oftentimes when a horror franchise goes from being a horror franchise into just being a dumb action thing, it usually loses its audience. And guess what? It also still has some of those elements in there that I don't really like. So I'm not going to watch it. Holy crap.
Back through this to fight that boss, and honestly, some of these fights, they boil down to luck. Okay, there was many battles in that game where you get to a point that the boss you're fighting, maybe the first time you played it, he spammed that one-shot move 3 times. But the second time you played it, he only did it once. And the other 2 times, he did that one move that's easy to dodge. So yes, there's a lot of skill involved. You know, it's like poker, 70% skill, but there's a little bit of luck in there too at the end of the day. And some of those battles felt that way. So instead of having this sense of triumph and joy that I overcame this challenge and spent all this time, instead I was just left feeling like, thank goodness I don't have to do that again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could have put the game down and never had to do it again. Like, this is like people who go out and they watch, they watch like the newest Disney thing just to complain about it. Like, you could just not, and then you're okay. I love the story, but you don't like the point of the game. So it's not for you. You love the art, you love the world, you love the story. Cool. Go watch some fucking YouTube videos about it. They're there. Go watch a playthrough. Like, the point of the game isn't for you. There are videos out there. Go watch them. It's not that hard.
So with Elden Ring, Night Rain coming out.
Yeah, but you don't like what the artists did. So you don't like what the artists did because the artists believe in that game franchise. And the artists made the art the way that it was to maximize that gameplay style. So you already don't like the project that the artist is working on. Therefore, don't play it. Don't pay it. Ain't that hard. If you don't like it, don't play it and don't pay for it. It's not a complicated thing, dude.
I'm not looking forward to that experience again. It's not going to be a good time. And I've had a lot of people argue about this where they're saying, well, that's the design of the game. That is the way it's meant to be experienced. Here's what I don't understand. No one is preventing you from playing that game on that difficult setting, going through it, struggling through it, and learning the dance, as I mentioned, and feeling that joy and that sensation of, wow, I actually overcame this really tough boss.
But again, it's not about preventing somebody from choosing a hard mode. It's about connecting with a specific audience type. Again, the intention of these game developers and directors is to attract a certain audience, okay? It is not to attract every audience. It's not to attract most audiences. It's to attract a certain audience, okay? You are not a part of that audience. I've said it over and over again because, again, it's not about easy mode. It's like, well, nobody has an issue if you make it harder. Well, yeah, because people who genuinely enjoy what the developer did, who think that, oh, wow, I really like this game. And then the developer goes, hey, did you really like these mechanics? Well, yes, because that is a game genre that I happen to enjoy. And they go, cool, would you like to engage with those mechanics more? And you go, yes, I would love to engage with the mechanics more. And then they give them a hard mode. But then when you go, hey, our game really doesn't matter, the gameplay doesn't matter, the actual thing that this thing provides to the game, the fucking controller or the actual mouse and keyboard, by doing what you're doing, you are removing the one fucking thing that makes it a video game. You are asking to take this or the keyboard and mouse or the joystick or whatever out of the equation, which is the entire point of playing a video game.
I thought there was no way, but I did it. You can still do that. You can put the game on a harder mode for all I care. But I don't understand why those people take such umbrage with those of us who want the game to be a little bit easier, where we can kick up our feet, we can run through, maybe we one-shot the boss, okay? Are we getting the exact same experience in terms of the gameplay? Not exactly, but at least we can still come to the table and be like, yo, remember that character? Yo, that one scene where this enemy did that, or that character betrayed this one whenever the heavens opened up and this took place.
Yeah, but like, that's not the point of the game. Those are there because in modern AAAs, like, yes, it's cool, but the point of the game is the mechanics. That's the point. You're like the dish is the mechanics, and all that other stuff is just seasoning. You like the seasoning, you don't like the dish itself. That's the point.
That was crazy. And the thing is, there are games out there like a Baldur's Gate that felt kind of like a time sink to me. The way the battles played out,
every fucking game is a time sink. That's the point. Like, the whole point of playing video games is I am going to do something that literally is not productive for any other thing in my life. Every game is a time sink. All of them are. Entertainment is exactly a time sink. It's called free time.
I didn't have the time to lose repeatedly. It made the game not fun. Those kind of experiences can be so off-putting, or the difficulty of a game can be so off-putting that there are potential fans that would love this.
No, there are not potential fans out there that would love it because, again, it's not made for them. Stop asking for stuff to be made for people it's not made for. Okay? Especially when you look at the numbers of these games and selling the way that they do. I mean, yeah, no.
Franchise that would eat up the lore and be in the forums and talking to people.
Padding episodes, same concept. No. Because if I'm watching a movie and all of a sudden they're like, hey, so we're just going to do a slideshow and you're just going to read this script. But I didn't want to read. If I wanted to read, I would go read. If I want to watch a movie, I sit down and I watch a movie. If I want to play a game, it's because I want to engage with the mechanics of that game. You're talking about removing the thing that makes it a game in the first place. You really like movies, so then just go watch movies. Or go, again, point and click adventures, right? Or go play the games that you are a part of that audience for. You're part of that audience. But don't ask for something that the developer, I've said it. You want to be included, which makes no sense. You're not part of that audience. Fine. Don't buy it. Don't play it.
People creating their own content, and instead they're gatekept. And for what? It's just so that people that enjoy the game being insanely difficult can say, well, yeah, so the game journalists don't have this easy.
Asking for genre elimination is ridiculous because the Souls-like is a genre now. Okay. Again, so am I gatekept from horror movies because I have terrible fucking nightmares of watching my family die, and I have since I was a kid, even without watching horror movies. And watching horror movies just so I should say, oh, well, they should just change that fucking genre so I can be included in it. No, they shouldn't. I recognize that there are things out there that are not made for me, which means, yes, I am technically gatekept from all of that. I mean, they made Concord for a specific audience of people, and they gatekept those people out, right? Dragon Age of Veilguard was made for a specific audience of people, and they gatekept a lot of people out, right? Dragon Age Origins, made for a specific audience. They gatekept. Why? So having a genre established and following the rules of that genre, like gaming is a genre of entertainment, is a type of entertainment, and following the rules of that is now gatekeeping? Dude, I don't think you understand how marketing and finding your audience work and targeting an audience works. You are not the target audience for apparently these games that aren't just walking simulators for you.
Time or whatever, it doesn't really make sense to me. Again, no one's stopping you from having the super difficult challenge.
This is the same logic as fat people wanting bigger airplane. No, you're not 95% almost the audience. That's the problem, because the art direction and all of this stuff in these games and the stories is all secondary to the gameplay mechanics. Because the idea was, let's make a game with this gameplay, and then we're just going to fill in all that other crap later. So, no. You're actually like 80% not the audience. Ram, what's going on, dude? You're not 95% of the audience, because the whole point of playing a game is to pick this thing up and touch the buttons the way that they want you to touch the buttons. You're asking to remove that point. So just go watch movies, dude. That's it. Target audience isn't a percentage thing. It's binary, on or off. Exactly. It's on or off. That's it.
There's even games where if you put it on an easy mode, it's like, hey, you put on easy mode, we're going to put a chicken hat on your character.
If you've been gaming for 35 years, then why on planet Earth would you ask them to remove this component? Why remove this component? That doesn't make sense. What?
Character. I believe that was in Metal Gear Solid 5. Or it turns the trophies off, so that if you're trying to brag to your friends, well, I took out this boss, he wasn't that bad. They say, well, show me your trophy list. And you go, and they can catch you, and you can have the cool kids over here that are really good at getting good, and then the people over here that just enjoy the story in the world, but everybody's playing.
But they don't want the people who just enjoy the story of the world. Again, that's the thing. You're not the audience. This entire argument falls flat on its face, because you're not the target audience. And the developer honestly doesn't want you as that audience. That's like saying, like, I don't want, like, if their people show up in the chat and they start saying nasty shit in my chat, I can ban them. Why? I don't want them as an audience. Period. That's it. Somebody comes and starts saying some crazy shit in my Discord, I can ban them. Why? Don't need those people in my Discord. Right? They make a game. And you go, well, I just don't like the mechanics of the game. That's their way of saying, cool. We don't want people who enjoy what you enjoy. We want other people who enjoy this other thing. That's it. Because you're not included. You are not included. And that's fine.
Whereas if you have that barrier for entry that's too high, and, people might have limitations.
Yes, they do give trophies for slaying pussy. It's called children. Anyway.
Too. Physical limitations.
John A. Douglas said it, and I don't know if he said it the way that I took it, but that's how I heard it, okay? Don't look at me like that, woman. My wife is just behind the camera, so...
that prevent them from being able to get that good. And so, yeah, you're like, well, then they should just go watch a playthrough of the game. Obviously, watching somebody else playing is much different than playing it yourself, and it also means that they're not putting money towards these companies when they could be. It's the kind of thing that if you're...
But why would you put money towards a company that, like... Wait. Why would you give money to a company that's doing something you don't like? Again, that's the same thing about people who are like, I'm going to go pay money for the next Disney movie because I hate it. And why would you... What? But you don't like 95% of what they're doing because all of that stuff was built around the gameplay. All of it was built around the gameplay to maximize the gameplay. Everything that they did was specifically designed for the mechanics of the game, which means you don't actually like it because the artist worked directly against you because they wanted the mechanics, because the mechanics of the game are the first thing. They say, this is the mechanics of the game. And then they go, cool, we're going to design everything else around that focal point. Which means you actively do not like what the artist worked for.
feeding that in there, you're giving them more money, and they can create more of these products.
But then you don't like the band. That's not. That's again. It's like, well, I like the band, but I don't like the singer. No. Because a band is the summation of. It's like all of it is a summation of all of its pieces together. Okay, which means all of the pieces are equally important. So if you don't like one of the critical components, guess what? You don't like that thing. It's like I said, it's an on or off thing. You're not the audience for this, dude.
Ultimately, I think that if you have an easy mode in this game, it allows more people to play it, to experience. And this channel is about...
Why? Why should more people get to experience it? Convince me. Why? I mean, more people got to experience comics when they started changing those. More people got to experience, the Marvel Cinematic Universe when they started changing that and adapting it for a different audience, right? Why betray the thing that you're doing so more people can enjoy it? Why? Why do that? Armored Core 6 was probably their most story-heavy game that I played, and the story was awesome. It's a betrayal to what I want to do as the artist, as the audience that I want to go for. Again, you're just like, no, but it should be easy because more people. But that's the thing. They don't want more people. They want the people who enjoy the things that they like, right? That was the point of me starting the channel that I started, is I wanted to connect with people who enjoy the things that I enjoy and not worry about people who don't enjoy the things that I don't enjoy. But again, you're using all of these various different arguments, dude, that don't matter. A steakhouse is food for fucking people, totally different genre, right? And guess what? Most people, when they look at a menu, and they're like, wow, this is a steakhouse that doesn't serve this thing. They're trying to do too much. People usually don't go there. People usually go to different genres. Like, for instance, if I wanted Louisiana-style food, I wouldn't go to a fucking steakhouse that doesn't have that and then request that they make it for me. If I wanted, like bomb-ass chicken, I would go to a place that serves bomb-ass chicken. I wouldn't go to a place that specializes in breakfast food. No, it's not. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yeah. But that you're not talking about the same thing, though. You're talking about going to a genre of restaurant for that thing with the offerings that they have for you. So if you go to a place that advertises as a steak restaurant and they don't have steak on the menu, would you give them that money? No, because they lied about the genre. The Souls-like genre is gameplay is king. The Baldur's Gate 3 game, the gameplay is king. That's the genre. You don't like the genre. Therefore, because guess what? The genre is defined by its mechanics. That's where you get genres of video games, is mechanics. But you're not talking about the Pepsi option. I think that I don't think that you understand what defines a game genre. You think that art is the game genre? No. What makes a JRPG is the mechanics. What makes a racing game is the mechanics. What makes the difference between a JRPG? Do you know what the difference between a JRPG and a CRPG is? Do you know what the difference between an action RPG is? Do you know what the difference between a first-person ARPG and a third-person ARPG is? Do you understand what a first-person shooter is versus a third-person shooter? Those are the genres. Okay? A Souls-like is a subgenre of the wider third-person action genre RPG. And that genre is all about, I'm not saying you, but again, you're arguing for something that does not exist in the genre and changing that genre. The whole genre of Souls-like is the difficulty and everything that you hate about it. That's that genre. Why would they change the genre for you?
Storytelling. It gives more people an opportunity to experience the story.
But there's no fucking story in Elden Ring. Not unless you go and hunt for it.
The characters, the world, and maybe people will butt heads over the gameplay because people took the easy way, some people took the hard way.
First person and third person are perspectives, not genres. No, not when it comes to gaming. Okay? Not when it comes to gaming, because oftentimes they actually have different gaming mechanics attached to them and different expectations, right? So yes, no, they're when it comes to gaming, a lot of times they will have different styles of mechanics attached to that, right? Which is why you have an FPS game, which is a first-person shooter game, as a genre. They list it as a genre. That's why yeah.
That's fine, but there's still more people coming to the table. And for that reason, I really think if your game has an easy mode, it should actually be really easy. And two, there's really
no, because then you're asking to get rid of the things that actually classify the game in the genre that it's in.
No good reason that I have heard that most of these games, especially the really challenging ones, shouldn't have an easier mode for people that want to experience them, but either don't have the ability or don't want to spend the time.
Yeah, but that's because the game developer doesn't want those people. That's it. They don't want those people. And that's fine. That's the reason. If I don't want you in my house, I don't need to have you in my house. End of story. They don't want you in the house. It wasn't made for you. It really wasn't made for you.
That it takes to get good to beat them. So after recording this video, I was talking to my friend Royce over at A Drink with Crazy, who covers gaming and pop
shit, I totally forgot you told me.
And basically, he did not see eye to eye with me on any of this. And he also mentioned something very important. He said, you know what? Did you bring any stats to this conversation, or is it just your feelings? Well, fair enough. So I went ahead and I dug into some of the stats because, as I mentioned towards the end of this video, that the only really good argument that I've heard is if you change the difficulty, does it impact sales numbers? And if you look at the sales of this game, they are staggering. We're talking about 30 million copies were sold by April of 2025. Now, Demon's Souls, by comparison from 2020, 2 million. Sekiro, interestingly enough, which is a lot of the gamers that love From Software products say Sekiro is the most difficult. It's coming in at 10 million, so only a third of the sales. So in my estimation, I think there's some merit to the point that people were coming to Elden Ring not just for the difficulty. Now, followed up with this is the Elden Ring DLC only sold about 5 million copies, and the completion rate for Elden Ring was less than 50. So if people are truly there for the challenge, you would think more of the diehards would have completed the game. So there's new people coming to the table already. I have suspicions that because a lot of people say the summons that were added to Elden Ring actually make it a little bit easier, made people maybe want to jump in. Or
I have a question. So did you actually pull up only the statistics isolated for, I mean, I guess I could just watch the video. Did you pull up statistics of people who actually go back and complete DLCs later in other games? Because you're pulling up the isolated instances here, and obviously Elden Ring being from, Elden Ring being, the main title. And then the drop off for DLCs is also a thing. Also, average game completion for other games as well. Because if you actually go and look, because Xbox, PlayStation, a lot of stuff like that will actually tell you the percentages of people that actually finish the game. Most people who buy a game actually don't finish it. Like, it's actually a staggering majority.
Like me, they saw, I'm a fan of open world action games with RPG elements, and I saw some like, this world is incredible. These characters look awesome. I'm going to play this. And it wasn't just purely for the difficulty. Plus, you have the tie-in of George R.R. Martin being involved. Obviously, a big name carries some weight. So I think there's people coming from that as well. The broader point that I would make here beyond those stats, I think there's really only one good way to measure, who's right. Is it that if you take away if you add an easy mode, are there going to be enough core gamers that feel betrayed, that they feel like the director of the game went against his own vision for the sake of sales, and they will just...
Well, but you would think that the target audience would beat the game. Yes, and the target audience often does beat the game, right? Now, there are a lot of people out there who actually, and with Elden Ring, Caffeinated Wolf actually made a really great point here. What you're leaving out is the fact that a lot of those people jumped on the Elden Ring train, did so because it was being talked about, but quickly dropped off because they couldn't get good. Again, a lot of people bought into, oh my gosh, this looks really cool, paid for the game, and then never completed it, right? They wasted their money. They gave something a shot. It's like, you wanted to use the restaurant thing. It's like, okay, I go to a restaurant to try a new thing. I'm like, oh shit, I actually don't like this thing. Guess I just wasted my money on that, right? That happens. That does happen. But you can't also negate the popularity of said thing, right?
Just say, we're not buying it because you betrayed us by adding an easy mode, or would you actually see the sales increase? And so I posit something that won't happen, but I'd like to see if you made two versions of whatever the next game is. You have the standard version for the hardcore kids, and then you make another version, and the second version, it has both the normal game and easy mode. And I have a creeping suspicion, again, no way to prove this, but if they had both versions, well, I at least know which version I'd be getting. Now, if you agree with me, I hope...
33% on Sekiro from softcore kids only. Yep. Well, but that's most people. Why don't you go look at... Let's see. How about like Space Marine 2? How many people completed that game? How many of the people in Space Marine 2 completed that game? How many people bought Black Myth Wukong? How many people bought... what's the newest racing game? Forza. What's the newest racing one? It's not doing well comparatively. It's great. Oh, dude, I love Free. Yeah.
Hopefully you like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us here at the Iron Seas. We also cover movies on Tuesday nights and talk about other topics, storytelling in general, whether it be books, comics, games, all of it. And if you think I'm totally wrong, well then, like I mentioned before, definitely check out A Drink with Crazy's channel, because I think you'll like what he has to say.
One,
be able to run right up to...
Thank you for the shout out. Sorry, I don't know why it does that jump when I switch. One, thanks for the shout out, dude. Two, I think that I do genuinely believe that you fundamentally miss. Here, guys, go check this out. If you guys want to go check out the Iron Seas channel, watch this video, leave your comments down below if you have not. But it's not about harder options. It's about, again, the genre, right? Because when you gave the example of just negating the mechanics just in and of itself, that was staggering to me. I did not realize that you were equating difficulty modes with actual genre mechanics. That I had no idea. I had no idea. And again, I think that you fundamentally misunderstand the point of easy mode. Easy mode, like just you misunderstand it completely. You're conflating it with the actual genres itself. And it's very, very... That was wild to me. Because again, what makes Baldur's Gate a D&D style game is the RNG. If you remove that out of it, it's no longer that genre of game. That's weird. And again, it does come down to the fact of, are you, because what makes a gaming genre is its mechanics. It's actually how you engage with, not that you're engaging with it, because you never actually touched on the point in this, and maybe you will here. Sorry, closing down some windows. You never actually touched on the point in all of that of talking about how you engage with the game. It was just that people can engage. But how do people do that? People engage with games through its mechanics, right? Through its gameplay design, which is the first element that all other subsequent elements are designed around. And you come in and say, remove that first element, that all of the other people design the game around. Just so engagement. That removes the genreification of the game. It's, wait, he called for removing the RNG from, oh yeah, in the very first part of this, did you not see that? Yeah, no, in the very first part of the video, you can go back to it. It was in his first minute. But again, that you want you want something that's not for you, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. These games are not for you. Therefore, don't request an option from a game that isn't for you. Like, that's not, again, the game isn't for you. I don't understand why that's hard to understand. You want the option to change a genre that you already don't like. Just don't play that genre. But I really like the cover and the colors are so pretty and all this. Yeah, but the soul of the game is its mechanics. Mechanics are king. That's what video games are. If you want to go play games that have those offerings, because like Uncharted doesn't want to be a video game. It wants to be a point and click adventure. Like, don't get me wrong, I played all 4 of them. I fucking love the story of Uncharted. I don't go back and play them though, because I've already seen the story once. There's no point to go back. Whereas Expedition 33, I'm going to continue playing after I get past the story, because there are harder bosses, there are more difficulties, there's more craft building in the game that I have yet to experience, right? All of those are mechanics in that game that I have yet to experience, because the game offers me something more than just the cutscenes. If you would like to play a game where cutscenes are king, go play those games, because those are made for a target audience like you. Do not demand that all games change their vision to meet you, because it's not for you. Remember how they said that Terminator Dark Fate wasn't for white men? Well, statistically, white men didn't show up to that movie because it wasn't for them. Now, they got mad that white men didn't show up, but they didn't show up. Again. But again, Evely, you're not talking about an easy mode. Every example that you gave was literally removing the genre mechanics from the game. Every single thing that you said was about removing genre mechanics. You didn't once actually mention an easy mode. For instance, if you would have mentioned an easy mode, you'd be like, hey, you know that one shot that, kills you? Well, maybe, just maybe it doesn't do as much damage. But you kind of didn't. You're like, maybe, yeah, you just walk into this and you just beat the whole game every time. Again, mechanics is different than difficulty levels. Yes, it is. And I was already baffled by the Elden Ring tank, but that Baldur's Gate 3 business is flat out insulting. It is. If you don't want to engage in the mechanics, again, it's not for you, because all games are designed around the buttons they want you to press on this thing. When you said you wanted to remove, and how you engage with those mathematical systems, you took it to an extreme for sure. Yeah, but again, okay, we're going to wrap this up. I fundamentally don't think that you understand what the purpose of gaming is. The purpose of gaming is to actually solve the problem put in front of you by the person developing the game. Games are puzzles to be solved. You do not seem to be a fan of apparently games that have you solve any level of puzzle making, right? If you're dying in a game, you're not solving that puzzle, okay? That puzzle's not for you. Go find one that is. That's the problem. But you're not asking, no. It's like you don't like this song, so you're asking to again, get rid of the thing that makes it that genre. You're conflating, again, you actually, I don't think, have a concept of what a difficulty mode is. And you're taking it, apparently you're taking it to an extreme level where it actually removes what defines that genre of game. which is really fucking crazy to me. You basically just asked, you're like, well, I like racing games, so I should just be able to hit auto and just set my controller down and then watch it just race for me. It's wild. Wow. I didn't actually realize your take was that nuts, dude. The game's not for you. Don't play the games. Don't spend the money on them. And don't waste your time with them. That's it. You're not the audience. And just be okay with that. You're not the audience. There's a lot of things that I'm not the audience for. I'm not the audience for Elden Ring. I don't ask them to change their art aesthetic for me, though. Or change the gameplay for me. I'm not the audience. I don't waste my time on the game. My wife actually bought it because somebody told her that it was so great. And she was like, I fucking no. And I was like, yeah, no, my wife is not into those games. So she doesn't play it. She doesn't ask it to be changed for her. She just doesn't play it. That's it. But you're not 95% there for them. You're not. You want to remove the thing that makes the games the games. You want to remove that. Games are not stories. Games are not stories. Games are a summation of everything that's in them, right? And the first critical component is how you engage with it, which is the mechanics, which is the mathematical systems that they put in place. But again, why would you, if Elden Ring is awesome, then why ask for them to make the change that literally takes it out of its own genre? The genre is the Souls-like. But if it has great mechanics, just dirty at times, then why not just leave it? Because you're asking to engage with not the point of the game. The point, again, you are like, this is a wild take. I am going to move on from this, though. I might actually clip this and put this up as an individual video this week. That's a wild fucking take, man.